What is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV today for your final installment of our Mae Young Classic preview. All 32 women from all over the world have finally been announced and confirmed by the WWE, and we are here to wrap it all up with the final 6 ladies, plus the announcement of our broadcast team, and we are going to do it all right now on your official home for the Mae Young Classic coverage, the absolute best Mae Young Classic coverage in all of YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and now also available on Spotify. It's the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Mae Young Classic Special, the finale of the preview. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me is the greatest tag team in Mae Young Classic coverage around. Thor, the Sledgehammer, the wrestling god of thunder, and the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. And of course, my little buddy, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Mr. Blue, the Snowball Microphone. Thank you guys for being here so we could finally wrap this thing up. WWE really had me by the balls. For the last couple of weeks, I could not get the final entrant confirmed to save my life. Finally, my investigative skills and my digging came through, and this morning I was made privy to the announcement. And the reason why it was kept so secret is because it has not actually happened yet on WWE TV. So this does contain a tiny NXT spoiler if you have not watched Wednesday night's episode for August the 8th. There is a tiny spoiler in here, so if you don't want to check that out, I saved it for the very last girl. You can go up to list number 5, and then you could exit out so that you're safe and you don't get ruined by anything if you're really a stickler for not being spoiled for NXT, which is one of the reasons why I hate tape shows. I hate that they're taping the Mae Young Classic. It is happening in just a little bit over 24 hours from now as I sit here as my desk recording, and I cannot wait. I'm going to try my absolute best to not be spoiled myself, and the next time you'll be seeing us talking about the Mae Young Classic is for the bracketology and our official preview and predictions for the whole entire thing. So let's get going as we continue to celebrate SummerSlam. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy today's broadcast, the Mae Young Classic stuff is always very, very special, and it has a nice new look, and you're going to get a look at it if you've never seen it before. Right now, as we are going to take to the contestants screen. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe during SummerSlam. Anytime during this list, feel free to do so, and I'll hit you guys back up at the end of this video. So enjoy my handsome self in my new and much more fun, very space-like surroundings. Alright, gang, let's finish off this list. 32 competitors. We have 26 so far, with the last 6 coming at you right now. Part 3 ended with the announcement of a former TNA Impact Knockouts champion, and we are going to kick off this list the very same way as we have from Detroit, Michigan, 30-year-old Allison K. Allison K has been wrestling for the last 10 years in countries like China, India, Mexico, England, and in Japan. She is most well known for her run in Impact Wrestling as Siena, where she had 2 reigns as the Knockouts champion and was ranked number 8 in Pro Wrestling Illustrated's top 50 female wrestlers of 2017. A fantastic addition to this year's crop of Mae Young Classic superstars. Another big name from Impact joining the WWE, one that I am greatly looking forward to because Allison K is great, bringing her impressive championship caliber talent to the Mae Young Classic, but maybe not as impressive as our next multiple-time champion on our list. Zatarra comes to us from Santiago, Chile. She is 26 years old. She made her professional wrestling debut in February 2008 using the name Tiffany. Since then, this luchadora has captured multiple titles throughout South America, including in Mexico City's world-famous Arena Mexico. Most notably, she is a two-time RLL Women's Champion, having held the title for an impressive 1,253 days combined across her two reigns as champion. Add her to the list of championship-level competition, stacking the field in this year's tournament. But for every champion on the list, we have also ladies with little to no championship accolades to speak of, but have been trained by industry legends and have been working just as hard as anybody else and are waiting to bust out, which may be the case with our next entry. Newly recruited to the WWE Performance Center from Brooklyn, New York, MJ Jenkins is going to be making her WWE debut at the Mae Young Classic. She's wrestled throughout the Northeast, as well as in Florida and in the Dominican Republic throughout the last 7 years. She's competed in Shine, CZW, and even Impact Wrestling. MJ has trained with WWE Hall of Famers the Dudley Boys and also Johnny Rods. Next up is another Performance Center trainee, but with far less experience than MJ Jenkins, and is another surprising return announced from the field of last year's Mae Young Classic competitors, China's Xia Li, one of the first athletes from China ever recruited by the WWE. She made her in-ring debut with her first match ever in last year's Mae Young Classic. Li found herself across the ring in her very first match, facing off against a well-seasoned veteran in Mercedes Martinez, who eliminated Xia from the tournament with relative ease. 1 year later, Li looks to do better than an early exit in last year's tournament, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not she does just that. Li is not the only returning superstar coming back for another chance on this list. Hell, she's not even the only Xia in the tournament as a whole. As we talked about second-generation superstar Xia Brookside in Part 3, we now have our next contestant, much like Xia Brookside, another second-generation superstar, and like Xia Li, is returning for the second Mae Young Classic, the one-woman Minnesota Wrecking Crew, 25-year-old Rachel Evers, who eliminated Marty Bell in the first round before being eliminated herself by Abby Lath in the second round of the Mae Young Classic in 2017. Evers is the daughter of WWE Hall of Famer Paul Ellering and a protege of Lance Storm. She's wrestled the indie circuit since 2015, even showing up in Impact Wrestling as well on a few occasions, and earning championships in Wrestle Circus, Resistance, PWM, MPW, and Revolution Pro Wrestling, where she held the women's title for nearly 1 full year. Pretty impressive, but not to be surprised when talking about some second-generation talent. Somebody returning to the Mae Young Classic, trying to redeem themselves after what could be considered a failure in the first attempt out, because if you don't win, you don't win, and it's a failure. But the final entry was a very surprising one to me, as we had yet another returning female from last year's tournament from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, 23-year-old Tanara Conti. She made her professional wrestling debut at WrestleMania Access in Orlando, Florida on April the 1st, 2017. In the 2017 Mae Young Classic, she was eliminated in the first round by Lacey Evans and has since appeared multiple times on NXT, appearing in a storyline between the Undisputed Era and Sanity to equal out and battle Nikki Cross. At WrestleMania 34, Tanara made her first main roster appearance, competing in the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, where she was eliminated by the Riot Squad, but made history in the process as she became the first Brazilian-born wrestler, male or female, to ever compete at a WrestleMania. During a recent taping of the August 8th edition of NXT, which as of this recording has yet to air, so spoiler alert ahead, Tanara defeats Vanessa Bourne to qualify for this year's 2018 Mae Young Classic. And last, but certainly not least, to wrap up this list is that this year's tournament will be called by the incomparable Mauro Ranallo and WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, whose work on commentary during the Mixed Match Challenge this year was so good, WWE decided to bring her back. This is a 100% upgrade from last year, but I'll talk a little bit more about that on the flip side of the screen in a second. So let's kick it back to the studio with my boy, Mr. Nick Nightmare. How you doing, bro? How you doing? And that is it. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I mean absolutely zero disrespect to anybody that I am about to talk about, but JR and Lita were absolutely dreadful. If there was one thing I could change about the Mae Young Classic 2017, I would have a different announce team, because it just seems to me like JR just doesn't have the enthusiasm for what he does anymore. I'm sure he still loves the product, he loves the girls, but he just doesn't have the gusto to really sell this thing the way a Mauro Ranallo does. This generation's JR, by far. Mauro Ranallo was the one piece of the Mae Young Classic puzzle that was missing. Unfortunately, he was going through all that shit with the, his battle with bipolarness and whether or not it was JBL that forced him away. But finally, thank God he came back to NXT, and thank God again we are going to get him as the commentator for the Mae Young Classic this year. It's going to elevate the show 100 times more. If you thought last year's Mae Young Classic was great, you are in for a treat, because it is going to blow last year's out of the water this year, just with Mauro excuse me, I'm sorry, Mauro. I'll get that out without a frog in my throat eventually. Even with Mauro Ranallo, it's just going to make it that much better. And the same can be said for Beth Phoenix. As I just pointed out to you guys, Beth Phoenix was the female side of the commentary team, which was something I was very welcome to see during the Mixed Match Challenge, and she did a great job. Her first couple of episodes were a little bit shaky. Obviously, she was nervous, but by the end of that tournament, she was very good. She wasn't the greatest thing you've ever heard since the King or anything like that, but she was very good, and she probably learned a lot sitting next to Cole and them doing their thing for the Mixed Match Challenge. But I'm excited about it. I thought Lita's voice, again, no disrespect, I love Lita, I have nothing but respect for Lita, but her voice is not one you would want to listen to. Like if you call a phone sex line, maybe Lita's very, tomboyish, kind of gritty, grating voice is just not appealing to the ears. And though she tried her hardest, she definitely had more enthusiasm than JR, and she did her homework and tried to learn a lot about the girls. She just didn't seem like commentary material. I'm sorry if you disagree with me. If you're a big Lita fan, don't kick my ass. Don't unsubscribe. It's just my opinion. Lita as a commentator, not very good. Lita as an analyst previous to the show, you want to put her on the pre-show, you want to put her on the panel, fantastic. She's great at that. But doing the commentary, maybe it was just because she was with JR. Maybe she was too nervous. I don't know. Beth Phoenix and Mauro Ranallo are going to knock this one right out of the park. It's going to make it a whole lot better than last year, and last year was fantastic, even with the lackluster commentary from two legends of the industry. So this year's field is set. 32 women from all around the world. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I do not know how the matchups are going to play out, but we have got some Japan super matches that could possibly take place. We've got some good luchadoras in this mix-up. They could end up facing off against each other as well. I am very much looking forward to seeing which girls from last year are going to be elevated further in this tournament. Is Mia Yim going to make it to the finals? She absolutely deserves to. She's absolutely fantastic. One little sidebar on Mia Yim. She is a Korean American. However, she was born in California, so technically she is just an American. And does it make the WWE racist that they're billing her from being from South Korea just because she is of South Korean descent? Her mother is from South Korea. She is born and raised in the United States. So wouldn't that make her a United States competitor? Gotta bring the hammer down where it's necessary. It's just something that I didn't understand. Why she's being billed from South Korea and not a United States competitor. I got to look back and see if they did that last year, and it's probably something that I overlooked in my excitement in the newness for the Mae Young Classic, but some things will not be left unnoticed again. I cannot wait for this thing to wrap up and get on the goddamn network. I am going to block the Mae Young Classic from all social media outlets, as should you. This way, when you watch it and come back here for your official review, you will have just as genuine and just as real of a reaction to everything, and will get to experience everything with us as the Mae Young Classic coverage continues to roll on Sledgehammer TV, your official Mae Young Classic station. Don't you forget it. All the girls in this year's tournament are going to be fantastic. The 6 we had tonight, Siena, coming in from TNA, absolutely fantastic. She was definitely a precursor to Charlotte Flair. She was the first person in all of professional wrestling, as far as the female goes in the modern era, that was coming out doing the peacock thing with the whole Ric Flair style robe. She's almost 6 feet tall herself. She's going to be a tough competitor to get through. I actually would like to see her go to I want to see all these girls go to the finals. It's that good of a field. You cannot overlook the Japanese contingent that is coming to this tournament. Io Shirai is coming to this tournament. Mako Satomura, and amongst many others. It's going to really be a happening. You guys cannot miss it. And more important than that, you should not miss the coverage of the Mae Young Classic right here on Sledgehammer TV. God damn it, I forgot to change the layout again. I actually changed the layout and just forgot to upload it. Oh my... So many things going on between SummerSlam, SummerSlam, Mae Young Classic. Sometimes things just slip through the cracks. And I'm not afraid to tell you guys, hammer down on me. I fucked up again, but I promise you on the Mae Young Bracketology Show, everything will be exactly up to speed, because this is last year's logo. I want to bash the hammer down on it right now just for being here, but I have nobody to blame but myself. Who I will not blame is you guys, because you guys are fucking awesome for being here. Thank you so much for getting through all 4 parts of this preview. If you haven't, and this is the first part that you've seen, go back. They'll be in the annotations right over here for you guys. Check out all the rest of the competitors, what I think about them. They are all nice and fancied and done up in that very cool style you just seen. Don't forget to keep it locked in on Sledgehammer TV. The best way to do that is to hit that notification bell. This way, every time a Mae Young Classic video drops, or any of the videos coming your way, because we got House of Glory High Intensity 7 coming to us next Friday. We have got everything pertaining to NXT TakeOver going to be covered on this channel. We are always going to be talking about and ripping apart WWE SummerSlam up until the minute we get to the end of that show, and then all bets are off and the hammer is coming down on the lamest party of the summer, and you guys do not want to miss a thing. And that's the best way to do that. Be subscribed, be notified, like this video, let the whole world know that everything we do here is A-OK with you, and then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they are tremendous fans of the Mae Young Classic and are looking forward to seeing a lot of TNA knockouts in the WWE for the first time in a long time. So that, my friends, is going to do it for this, and we will see you once again when we get the bracketology. But before that, we are getting ready to sit down and enjoy some SmackDown Live tonight, in which we will be here later on this evening, or as of this filming, you'll probably get it on Wednesday, so SmackDown will probably be over. So look forward to seeing that. If you missed the SmackDown Live review, it will be up live on this channel for your viewing pleasure, and that's the next time I want to see your asses here. If you guys subscribe during this video, don't forget to let me know in the comment section down below. This way I can shout you guys out on the next video. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and Podbean, baby. You know you love it. The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV. We'll see you guys for SmackDown Live, and for all the Mae Young Classic coverage you'll ever need. Don't forget to subscribe. bitches.